This video is brought to you by Warner Brothers.
The happiest man on earth would look into the mirror and see only himself, exactly as he is.
So then it shows us what we want, whatever we want.
Yes and no. It shows us nothing more or less than the deepest and most desperate desires of our hearts.
Welcome to WatchMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 hidden details in Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone.
What are you looking at?
Not Slytherin, not Slytherin.
Not Slytherin, eh?
Mr. Potter, our new celebrity.
For this list, we're looking at the background details and Easter eggs you may have missed during your first cinematic trip into Hogwarts. Which of these hidden details enchanted you the most? Let us know in the comments below. Number 10. An actor is credited as he who must not be named.
What happened to you know who?
More than a few people have portrayed Voldemort over the years. The actor who played He Who Must Not Be Named in a flashback scene was Richard Bremer.
Voldemort started to gather some followers, brought him over to the dark side.
Although his body was seen on screen, the man behind Voldemort's face and voice in the first film was Ian Hart. This resulted in the two actors receiving separate recognition in the credits. While Hart is listed as Voldemort, Bremer is credited as He Who Must Not Be Named. How cool would it be to have He Who Must Not Be Named as a role on your acting resume?
Voldemort.
Yes, you see what I've become. See what I must do to survive.
Number 9. The names next to James Potter's Quidditch award.
But I've never even played Quidditch. What if I make a fool of myself?
You won't make a fool of yourself. It's in your blood.
When Hermione shows Harry a Quidditch award James Potter earned, we can spot two very interesting Easter eggs. The name M.G. McGonagall and the year 1971 appear under the Gryffindor Quidditch trophy. Since McGonagall was a professor at that time, this could mean that she had a relative that was good at the sport.
Wood, I have found you a seeker.
Next to this mysterious McGonagall is a plaque for special services to Hogwarts. That distinction was once awarded to Tom Riddle, aka Voldemort. Seeing an award given to Riddle behind James Potter's distinction was a nice visual cue that Voldemort was lurking in a Potter's shadow until it was time for him to come back.
With the stone gone, that is. That Voldemort can never come back.
Ah, I'm afraid there are ways in which he can return.
Number 8. Hints of Slytherin House appear at the zoo. Shortly after arriving at Hogwarts, Harry is told about the houses.
Slytherin!
There's not a witch or wizard who went bad who wasn't in Slytherin.
He learns Slytherin's house color is green, their animal symbol is a serpent, and the students are stereotyped as being evil. It turns out that these characteristics are heavily foreshadowed early in the film. When Harry goes to the zoo, we see a bunch of students in green coming out of the reptile house. The movie then cuts to a snake that is being tormented by Dudley.
Make it move!
Move!
He's asleep!
Is it just a coincidence that we see a bunch of kids in green right before a serpent is treated cruelly? Or were the filmmakers trying to subconsciously warn us about Slytherin from the very beginning?
Yes, well done, Slytherin. However, recent events must be taken into account.
Number 7. The double snare scene features reverse footage. During the main trio's quest to reach the Sorcerer's Stone, they fall into a dangerous plant called the Devil's Snare.
Whoa. Lucky this plant thing's here, really.
Its vines quickly wrap around Harry, Hermione, and Ron. But it turns out that our eyes were deceiving us the whole time. According to Insight Edition's Harry Potter Film Vault collection, the actors were actually wrapped in practical vines first.
Hermione! Now what are we gonna do? Just relax!
After they looked trapped, puppeteers removed the tendrils that surrounded each member of the trio. To solidify the effect, the footage of the vines wrapping around the actors is played in reverse. The seamless combination of film tricks and practical effects made the Devil's Snare into an iconic obstacle.
Lucky we didn't panic.
Lucky Hermione pays attention in herbology.
This video is brought to you by Warner Brothers. After this countdown, be sure to check out our amazing Rube Goldberg machine inspired by Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. Link in description. Number 6. Clothing that reflects the trio's personalities. The personalities of the main trio perfectly balance each other out. Ron is the carefree friend who isn't overly concerned with small details or his appearance.
You've got dirt on your nose, by the way. Did you know? Just there.
On the opposite end, Hermione is a perfectionist who strives for excellence.
Besides, you're saying it wrong. It's Leviosa, not Leviosa.
And since Harry can slack off but also get serious, his personality falls somewhere in the middle between his two best friends. All these traits were once reflected in their clothes. When the trio is walking alongside Hagrid, Hermione's scarf is done perfectly, Ron didn't bother tying his at all, and Harry's is halfway done. This was another incredible visual cue that occasionally comes back with other accessories like ties. After seeing it once, you will be looking for this pattern every time the trio shows up.
You want to be careful. People will think you're up to something.
Number 5. Why the Remembrall turned red.
Hey, look! Neville's got a Remembrall.
Neville gets a Remembrall pretty early on in the film. The magical sphere's smoke turns red if he forgets something. Unfortunately, that doesn't seem to help Neville much.
The only problem is, I can't remember what I've forgotten.
But you don't need to be as smart as Dumbledore or read minds like Voldemort to figure out what the student forgot. During the scene where Neville gets the Remembrall, he's the only student we can see who isn't wearing his school robes. It seems like someone pointed out his mistake because he is wearing robes in the very next scene. Although his uniform slip doesn't seem to get him in trouble with any professors, he should probably keep his Remembrall on him at all times just in case.
Sorry. It's for your own good, you know.
Number 4. The Mirror of ERISED'S reflective message.
I see that you, like so many before you, have discovered the delights of the Mirror of Erised.
After Harry stumbles on the Mirror of Erised, the camera lingers on an assortment of words etched into the object. Although the statement looks like gibberish, it's actually a mirror image of an English sentence without punctuation, and with some of the letters slightly moved around. The reflected statement reads, "I show not your face, but your heart's desire." This detail perfectly sums up why the mirror shows Harry's lost parents and gives Ron a bright vision of the future.
There, you see them, don't you?
That's me! Only I'm head boy, and I'm holding the Quidditch cup.
Unfortunately, the phrase doesn't exactly explain how the Sorcerer's Stone got in the magical object. Maybe there's another reverse sentence that describes how that's possible on the other side of the mirror.
How is it I got the stone, sir? 1 minute I was staring in the mirror, and the next.
You see,
Number 3. The magical leaky cauldron sign.
Can we find all this in London?
If you know where to go.
Muggles tend to miss a lot of the hints that magical things exist in their world.
There's no such thing as magic.
But to be fair, magic isn't always easy to spot. A perfect example comes when Harry and Hagrid travel to London for school supplies. As they approach a seemingly ordinary building, a previously blank sign is suddenly covered with the Leaky Cauldron logo. When they open the door, they see a ton of witches and wizards. The magical world has definitely perfected the art of hiding in plain sight. So maybe there is still a chance that we could accidentally stumble upon something like a wand shop on our way to the store.
No, definitely not.
Number 2. Snape's coded classroom message. One of the first things Snape says to Harry is packed with deeper meaning.
Tell me, what would I get if I added powdered root of asphodel to an infusion of wormwood?
The asphodel is a lily that was historically planted on graves. Although Snape doesn't say it openly in the first movie, he was close with Harry's deceased mother, Lily, when they were kids. Snape also mentions a plant that symbolizes absence called wormwood. The professor could combine it with asphodel and other ingredients to make a potion that causes a deep sleep called the Draught of Living Death.
I can tell you how to bottle fame, brew glory, and even put a stopper in death.
Snape's phrase expresses remorse for Lily's passing, his continued grief over her absence, and hints that either he or Lily are in a state of slumber they can never awake from. That is a heavy and tragic statement for the first day of class.
Pity. Clearly, fame isn't everything. Is it, Mr. Potter?
This video is brought to you by Warner Brothers. After this countdown, be sure to check out our amazing Rube Goldberg machine inspired by Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. Link in description. Before we Accio our top pick, here are some honorable mentions. Each of Fluffy's heads had their own personality. According to the Harry Potter Film Vault collection by Insight Editions, each head looked and moved differently. Harry's scar hurts when Quirrell is facing away from him, all because Voldemort is hanging on the back of the professor's head.
Harry, what is it?
Where shall I go?
Nothing, I'm fine.
Insight Editions' Harry Potter Film Vault collection said an animatronic rat was used on the train, except for the spell. Even though the rat was real here, did the fact Scabbers was actually Pettigrew cause Ron's spell to fail?
Sunshine, daisies, buttermellow. Turn this stupid fat rat yellow.
Harry follows the snitch, but Oliver loses track during the Quidditch lesson. This proved the boy who lived was a born seeker.
And we win.
Watson had false teeth in the final scene, meant to mirror her book counterpart. Insight Editions' Harry Potter Film Vault collection confirmed this dental detail.
Feels strange to be going home, doesn't it?
I'm not going home. Not really.
Number 1. A Christmas chess game foreshadows the plot. Hermione walks in on her friends enjoying some wizard's chess around Christmas time. During their game, we see Ron use his queen to take Harry's knight.
Knight to e5.
Queen to e5.
Although we don't know if Mr. Weasley won the game with that move, the same tactic comes into play later on. Ron assumes the role of the knight in a real game of wizard's chess. He's able to set his friends up for victory by letting his knight get taken by the opposing team's queen.
Once I make my move, the queen will take me. Then you're free to check the king.
Although this tactic was life-threatening, it allowed Harry to stop Voldemort from completing his evil plans. We do not want to think about where the wizarding world would be if Ron hadn't used this chess move at Christmas.
To Mr. Ronald Weasley, for the best played game of chess that Hogwarts has seen these many years, 50 points.
This video is brought to you by Warner Brothers. Own Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone on digital and Blu-ray now. After this countdown, be sure to check out our amazing Rube Goldberg machine inspired by Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. Link in description.